Welcome to Sunrise Sisters. I'm Shannon.
And I'm Kate, and we're two runners who became friends quickly. We share advice, we laugh, and we're taking our runs off the road and into the studio.
Are we going? All right, we're going.
Good morning, Kate.
Good morning, Shannon.
How are you doing? Did you run this morning?
I didn't. I might later.
You say that so sorrowfully.
I know. This has been happening a lot to me. I'll get up. I got up late. And I could have run, but I really wanted to have a cup of coffee. And if I have a cup of coffee, I can't run. I can't run for a while.
Yes.
So I had to make a choice. It was, I guess, easier than it should have been. So I had a coffee and I read my book. And then I lifted. I did weights. But
Nice.
Typically what happens is when I make the decision not to run, usually about an hour after I wake up, I'm like, I wish I would have run.
Well, we talked about what the subject was today, and it's funny, how you're feeling, because I think we both feel when we don't do our normal routine, we feel really off our axis, which we know we've talked about. But some of it, right now, like what you just explained, is your body or your mind needed something. It wanted to relax, it wanted to have a cup of coffee, read, enjoy the morning. And for you and I that are so routine based and also want to make sure we're running and exercising, we always have regret. And right now I'm in a place where I need to take care of my body a little more. I'm seeing a functional provider. And through that, I've realized that in order to heal and feel better, I need to do some things differently. One has been diet, which I've been doing for almost 3 weeks, and I'm starting to feel really great with that. I feel like on an upswing this week, end of this week. But the other part was that I have to reduce the amount of stress to my body. And part of that includes possibly less running, or at least not over exercising and not strenuous exercise, more gentle. And you and I had such a great talk.
Classify our running as gentle running. I mean,
well, I do classify it on my Saturday runs with my second group, or my group, right? Because you and I are not a group. Are we a group? Two people a group? I don't know. I think we're a duo.
Yeah, we're a group.
Okay.
Two is a group, right?
Or a duo. Maybe a duo. But anyway, I digress. You and I.
A running couple.
A running couple. Oh, I like that. Running partners. Running partners.
Running life partners. Running life partners.
Running sisters. I mean, come on, we're Sunrise Sisters.
Sunrise Sisters. Okay, fine. Go ahead.
All right, we've gone full circle. So that part is meant this week that I got really kind of upset about it, that I had to change my routines. And you and I had such a good talk about that, right? And some things that you said to me really stand out. And I don't know if you have any thoughts before I launch in and take over the conversation completely. But when you heard my part, which is, I feel like I failed because my body's so stressed, I clearly can't do these things because of my failure to be able to manage stress better, and that I thought I was. And I don't know if you mind sharing a little bit of that advice to me, as well as looking at what we do together and being a little less black and white. Do you mind sharing?
Well, thinking about what we said, even the last several years, in particular, the last 2 years, being on my own completely in lots of ways, I've done a lot of this. When you put a lot on yourself, it's hard to take a step back. You are a very driven person and a very goal-oriented person. And I think I'm the same way. And probably a lot of our listeners are too. And I remember my coach saying, Kate, stop looking up the hill, turn around and look down and see where you've come so far. And so we tend to always want to go forward, and not acknowledge that sometimes we need a break. And I think the very things that make you keep going forward and keep doing more and having your checklists and reaching goals makes you. Well, I had such a hard time finding the word, because I didn't want to say successful. And there was another word I didn't want to use because it makes you the person that you are. It's made you give of yourself in a very positive way. And also, it's the thing that makes it difficult to honor what you need right now. So there was that piece to it where I said, that's probably going to be a struggle for you. I can imagine that it will be. It would be for me. I'm taking a bit of a break for a bunch of days, and I'm already have checklists and things that I have to accomplish on this break. Otherwise, it's not a successful break. So I think, the driven people have a very hard time. So you're going to have to connect with that part of you probably every day and say, thanks for what we've done so far together, but I need you to relax at this part because this is what we need right now.
I really enjoyed that conversation because it gave me better permission to let go of feeling like I failed or succeeded. And I'm speaking to all the listeners out there who have to take a break, have to stop running, or have to take a break from aspects of their exercise routine to do better for themselves. And one of the things I mentioned to you is if I had hurt my ankle and couldn't run, that I wouldn't say I blame myself for being an unsuccessful walker and stick there. I'd say, here's what I need to do to heal the ankle. So in a shorter amount of time, I can start again. And this is a 30-day request of me. That said, you and I talked about what possibly in my black and white head, I kept thinking of can and can't versus, and as you mentioned before, I'm not maxing out on running. We don't sprint and do like this hardcore training. It's actually a run where you and I de-stress. You talked a little bit about what happens when people walk or run and talk, like when you have those relationships. I think you said it. What does it release? Serotonin?
Oh, or walk and talk. Yeah, women are definitely geared to lower stress hormones with walking and talking. That's why you'll always see women out walking together more often than you'll see like a couple guys walking out together. That's just not how they get their stress relief. But women drop those stress reducing hormones when we're walking, talking, moving. Yeah.
I love that. So I think that for that conversation to reframe the situation I'm in, which is I'm really trying to take care of myself, switch my brain over. So I want you to know how helpful that is and that I could relook at where I'm at to really take good care of myself so that I can be in a better health situation and be able to not have to take the breaks, hopefully again, because I'm taking good care. So in that, I really thought about, and I still need to kind of frame my days. I can't kind of leave it too loose, but yesterday, I sat outside for all my work from home calls just to be in nature and be outside in the beautiful sun. I get done in the summer at 1:00 for my work. So I took a nice walk with my youngest son and the dog very briefly. It's like a half mile and talked with him. Then I got in the pool and floated and read my book and relaxed. And I ended up sitting out at the fire pit with my husband and he had made me a wonderful turkey squash chili and had my faux wine because I'm not drinking alcohol. So
what's faux wine?
I'm calling it faux wine because it sounds French, but it's fake wine. It's wine that has had, it's actual wine that they take all of the alcohol out of. It's a process. And then they add a little bit of herbal to it to give it the tang that wine has. But putting it in a wine glass, kicking my feet up, I started a new book because I had finished the one I was reading and having my chili and sitting and talking to my husband. Like it was nice and stress reducing. Then I took an Epsom salt bath.
Oh my goodness. What a day.
And watched TV and I got a good night's sleep.
Oh, so that's beautiful. I love that. Yeah.
So move from self-blame and what I can't do. Although again, I feel good about continuing my runs in the framework of keeping them focused, losing the weekend run and turning it into a walk and trying something different. I'm going to take a hiatus from the gym Tuesday, Thursday, and just make Monday, Wednesday, Friday my exercise days. The other days be restorative exercise, whether it be stretching or meditating or with meditation.
That. Yeah, I was thinking, why don't you do Tuesdays, Thursdays, like a stretch or yoga or something? That's really great. Yeah, I think to your point about, it's definitely frustrating when you have a physical restraint that holds you back from the exercise you want to do, but it's a different battle when you feel like you could do it. Physically you could run. So I think it makes it harder because it's like this invisible reason, right, that you can't run. And that's a struggle for you because, you've got to argue with the things that get you out there in the morning. And that's tricky.
Well, where I determine based on our discussion, let me circle back to something you said about gentle is we're not sprinters. Like there's nothing we're doing that's Olympic level.
I mean,
what we're doing.
We could be in the Olympics if we wanted to.
You think?
Let's be honest. I mean, with the way you run up hills with your arms by your side, that it could be a whole competition. No one runs up a hill without moving their arms like you do, Shannon Myers.
So I went and visited my parents last weekend. They're in their 80s, former runners, and they are now walking. My mother has just recently had to stop running for different health reasons, but she walks. And they have a hill they call Suicide Hill. It's the steep hill. I live in a hilly spot of Connecticut, lots of ups and downs. And they talk about it as just the one that is very difficult and almost kills them every time. It's just a good uphill. My mother is slower because she has a little trouble breathing, but she is in amazing shape. I made it up the hill ahead of her with their friend Walter, who walks a little faster. I turned around and what do I see? My mother coming up the hill with her hands on her hips.
No.
So I think this is a hereditary movement. And I think that this is just how us women in my family, we chicken arm it up the hills. And
maybe you watched this as a little girl and you don't remember and you were like, okay, you just don't even know you're doing it.
Maybe. I've become very self-conscious about it because one of the things within our runs I've been doing since we talked about this is trying to overcome my brain that wants to stop and walk because I start to get it's almost like I get lit up on it at certain places. It's mind over matter. So I've been pushing to not do it because I don't do it with other people at other times when I run or if I run in the morning or do, something like that on my own. So it's funny because that now is part of it. When I go up that hill, I totally want to chicken arm it up that hill and I can't.
Because I'm judging you.
I know you're judging me.
Yeah. But our run out is kind of downhill and our run back is pretty much, 60% of it is uphill. It's tricky coming back the second half.
Would you call it gentle uphills? I think it is. It's one of those.
It probably is, but it feels like Mount Everest to me. But you know what the other thing too is we talk the whole time. So that definitely makes it harder when I'm running alone. It is different. It's very different. And they say that when you're walking and doing cardio, that's a good heart rate level to be at. If you can have a conversation, be maybe a little winded, but not completely out of breath and still talk. So, we do that.
I wonder, we should start observing. Do you tend to talk on the way out? And do I tend to talk on the way back? And is that why I'm running out of gas when we're going back? But
hands down. Yes, I have verbal diarrhea all over you on Monday mornings in particular from either a stressful weekend or a weekend where I've only talked to my cat. And so I'm like, I just throw everything out at you on Monday morning. I know that for a fact. I've been noticing that I tend to blast you on Monday mornings. And then if I need a little break, I let you talk at the end, which you're so kind to me.
So let's be an experiment this week because I've decided that I'm going to continue running with all of these other changes in my routines and exercise routines that I can do it. Well, gentle run, whatever we want to call gentle run, but I would say it's a very slow mile. It'll drive you crazy. And let's see what happens on the hills. And if we're able to complete it without us stopping or me asking to stop. And just a side note on this health journey for everyone listening, do what you need to do for your body, feel better. And if it's temporary, you'll come back and feel glad that you did it for the short term. I also want to speak about the sores on my face right now.
No one can see them except for us.
Well, I'm telling the listeners because I think this is funny. And I started to tell you in Victoria, when I was working with my functional health provider and she was looking at my testing results, which culminated in her saying, you must be feeling really tired and you need to start doing these things to feel better based on your results. Immediately, I felt tired when she said it. It was almost like my body heard it and said, yes, I am tired. I need to rest. And after that, I got off the call, went in the bathroom, and found these blisters, not on my lip, on my face, next to my mouth, not even on my lip, which I've never gotten a cold sore on my face. But immediately after this call, bloop, I have these blisters on my face. I'm like, oh no. So for anybody that gets cold sores, it's just an assault. You have to put medicine on it immediately to slow it. I also question, they could be poison ivy because I have poison ivy on the side of me and it comes from my dog, right? Her paw. She walks in poison ivy sometimes. So,
oh my gosh. You can't wait. Can you get poison ivy from your dog?
Yeah. If the oils are on their paws, for sure. And I have none in my property. We actually have eradicated it because I have people in my family who are allergic. So it's either cold sores or it's poison ivy. But when it starts, it's kind of flesh colored. They're there. You kind of have to look. Why am I bringing this up? So I had work meetings today where we had visitors that are from outside the country that I enjoy seeing. And they were all the way from India and they were in our office. And I needed to meet with them. So I go to work and I don't say anything, but they're there and they're on my face. I just want like they're like a line coming out of the corner of my mouth for listeners, and it's about an inch long. So imagine somebody showing up and they got blisters on their face. And you never know who knows what these things could be. No one said anything. And they're quite prominent, but at least they looked flesh colored. Well, now they're healing. And I have like a dotted line of 3 blisters, red, coming out from the corner of my mouth. They're awful. I've been on calls. And I was in the office more because the visitors were there. I was in 3 days this week and I just never named it. But I tried to sense if people could see it and no one did a thing. And I think that's pretty good. No one said anything. I know my oldest son one time said, you got something on your face and it's like, it's an age spot. And I was like, thanks a lot. And I was like, no, that's nothing. This is an age spot. And well, I had to call it out to Victoria when we first got on, but I thought it was pretty amazing. No one called it out.
Well, first of all, I think we always think that it's worse than what people see. You told me about it. Was it Wednesday or Wednesday run? You told me it was coming. You prepped me. And honestly, it was the last mile where I said, oh my gosh, I forgot about your face. I want to see it. So we stopped so I could look at it. But
it's away from you. I just want to call out, I'm on the side where this is not facing you. You were seeing this.
No, I'm on that side of you.
No, I'm on this side. Yes, because maybe it's the Zoom mirror, but you're on this side. So you didn't.
But then when we turn around and go back, I'm on this side.
You noticed it.
Okay. That makes sense. So, so I think, you're focusing on it, but honestly, talking to you and looking at you right now, I don't even see it. I really don't. Like, it's probably all you see, but I'm not even looking at it. It's not even on my radar. So hopefully that helps you. Like, once you see it, you just.
I saw it.
Oh, man.
Victoria's honest. Thank you for your honest bubble. It's pretty bad. But anyway, so what have we learned? I'm in healing mode. My body definitely is giving me alerts that is slow down, rest, do some things differently. I'm building rest in, which I think is funny. My husband thinks is funny, into my goals. So I set aside time to slow down, which yesterday was delightful. And we're going to see how the running goes in our gentle running time period for the next 25 days that I need to do it.
Yeah, we got this.
We got this.
Sunrise Sisters would like to thank Sterling-Lancaster Community Television, all of our friends on social media, our listeners.
I'd like to thank Brooke Winsman for our fantastic logo. Thanks for listening. I'm Shannon.
And I'm Kate, and thanks for running with us.